really got it bumping. Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold to the hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul Era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. 10 DiBiase, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to another episode of Boot to the Face here live on YouTube and on all your favorite podcast players. I'm Chris Rucker along with my host EJ Reed, and we are here to talk about some professional wrestling that took place this past week. And a lot of shit happened this past week, EJ. But before we get to all that, how you been?
Highly favored. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Worked a lot this past weekend. Worked yesterday at an Irish bar and Saturday at an Irish bar for St. Patrick's Day, which basically covered all my expenses for that Japan trip that I took. So, yeah. I mean, if you add that up with my vacation pay that I took yesterday, but today was a rough one at work, man. That service industry shit, I never did it before, and I say it every year. Like, these people they deserve to be treated way better than what people actually treat them. If you only knew the pain and just how uncomfortable it is to work in the service industry, man, and then you got to deal with a bunch of different personalities, a lot of them being drunk at a lot of times, power tripping people that work with you. Like, it's a lot that goes into it. And yeah, every year I'm always like, we need to treat these people, but honestly, in America, we need to pay them better, because when you go to other countries, you don't have to tip the service industry. They actually make a livable fucking wage.
Yeah. Do you think that the industry beats some of the workers down and they end up being assholes, or you think those type of people that give terrible service are just naturally assholes?
I really don't find, I work for my regular job. I'm in and out of bars and restaurants all day. Plus, when I work there part-time, I really don't find like servers are assholes. I find it always to be like the chef and the bar manager, and a lot of time the bartenders and like the cooks and shit like that. Like, for some reason they're always on a power trip, and like they have to be the one that knows everything and does everything, and everything has to go through them. And it's like, shut the fuck up, Phil. Just go make the fucking corned beef and hash and shut the fuck up. Like, nobody wants to hear that.
You're right. I should be more specific. I meant like the fast food, because if you're gonna walk-in restaurant, they pretty much treat you with respect. But how about like the fast food restaurant? That's still service industry.
Yeah, I worked at Subway and it wasn't that bad. Like, we could sit down and chill when it got pretty slow. So you weren't on your feet and dealing with drunk people nearly as much in fast food. I mean, fast food, I guess if you work at Taco Bell, you're dealing with people at like night, right? Because they're the only ones open. But I think, never mind. I was about to say something to get us fucking canceled.
What's the gist of it now? It's too late.
I was just gonna say, I think people that are usually in the fast food. See, no, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. That's wrong. You're not going to... You almost drew me off sides. How about that John Cena promo?
Nah. We're getting back to this fast food topic. I've seen some instances in person and online of the workers throwing bags of food in people's cars, jumping over counters and fighting. Take that for what it is.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like... Because they don't take tips in that industry either, so it's like... I'm working all these hours and I'm barely getting paid, and people are coming in here being assholes, and I've had enough. Or if it's just people that are, like you said, it's just like the worst of the worst people, and they couldn't really get a job anywhere else.
Do a study on that.
Yeah. Other than that, man, how you been?
I was in Omaha for a conference for my chapter in my frat. It's first time in Nebraska.
Yeah.
You know, Midwest city. Nothing, spectacular to talk about. Like pretty much all the Midwest cities are pretty much all alike, as far as the bigger ones.
Fun fact, I used to live in Omaha, Nebraska when I was a kid.
Don't say. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think we lived there for maybe a year. Three things I remember. I remember we lived with family while we were there, and I had a couple cousins. And I remember that was the first time I had ever saw somebody take a lemon, cut it up like an orange, and put sugar on it, and basically have lemonade like that. And I was like, that's disgusting. Let me try it. And of course I fucking liked it because I was a kid, and it was sugar. And I remember that was when Will Smith came out with the Nightmare on My Street song. And I remember me and my mom had just got home, and it was playing in the car. And she put the car in park, and we were listening to it. And she jumped out the car like screaming like somebody was chasing her. I remember it freaked me out. And I never trusted again.
You must have been little back when you lived there.
Whenever
Fresh
Nightmare on
Prince
My
came out.
Street came out, what year was that?
That was like 91, 90. It was a while ago.
Yeah,
Maybe even
I was
80s.
about 8 or 9.
Late 80s.
I was born in 82, so I was about 8 or 9 when it came out.
Man, so you probably don't remember like a lot of the specific details.
No.
You know they're known for the steaks out there, and I didn't get a fucking chance to get a steak out there because my timing was off. But it is what it is. Next time. No,
Omaha,
that's one
Nebraska.
thing. What's that?
So Omaha, Nebraska, you went right at the start of tornado season too.
Yeah, luckily I didn't run into any. That would have been a disaster. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing I wanted to do because I would follow college baseball whenever my team, whenever the Gamecocks are actually doing well. So I always wanted to go to the College World Series. One day if they make it back, I think that would be a fun trip. But who knows?
Why do they have it in Omaha?
I have no clue.
Of all the fucking cities in America, they picked Omaha, Nebraska to have the College World Series in every year?
Somebody, must have got some money under the table or something else under the table.
Yeah, Omaha's fucking. That's their yearly money coming in from the College World Series. Because I imagine a bunch of people come in to watch. Like you were saying, if your team goes, you follow them.
Exactly. So yeah, like you said, that probably brings in a lot of money. I drove by the baseball stadium. It's a nice stadium. It's almost like MLB, like the way it's set up. I'm sure the capacity is not quite as much, but it was dope. And actually, I think AEW is supposed to be out there this week. So what a coincidence.
Well, speaking of baseball, MLB starts up pretty soon. And yesterday, when I was at the bar working for St. Patrick's Day, one of the managers comes up to me. He's like, "Did you see who's here?" And I'm like, "Nah." He's like, I'll let you go find out." I'm like, "Motherfucker, it's 1,000 people in here." Like, so eventually he came and got me. It's like, "Look at that booth over there." And he's like, "You recognize him?" I'm like, "He does kind of look familiar. Doesn't look the same as when he played baseball." Fucking Atlanta Braves legend Chipper Jones was in the house yesterday.
Really?
Yep. A couple of the servers and bartenders got a picture with him, but I was like, if he walks, because I was outside, I was like, if he walks by out here, I might say something, but if I don't see him, I don't see him. Like, I don't like fucking with people on their civilian time. I think I've talked about that before, as far as like wrestlers and celebrities and shit like that. Now, had he just been like taking pictures with people and yucking it up, I would have, but he's over sitting in the booth trying to be private with him and whoever the guy was he was with yesterday for St. Patrick's Day.
That's what's up. Yeah, like when it comes to celebrities, if the conversation happens naturally and we happen to be like in the same area, then it's cool. But I don't go out of my way to talk to them. I feel like that's groupie behavior. But Chipper Jones, that's dope. You know, growing up, that was the closest.
Sorry, I couldn't hit my
Bless you.
button.
That was the closest professional baseball team around were the Braves. So like all of my friends of that age, like elementary school, Braves fans. You know, Chipper Jones. Who else played? Did Andrew Jones play for the Braves
Yep.
too back then? I
They
want to
played
say.
at the same time.
David Justice,
Yep.
Dion was there. Greg Maddux, all of those. So yeah, it was a lot of Braves fans, and still are, in the Carolinas. So that's what's up.
David Just, I remember I used to get him and Derek Jeter confused all the time because they were both light-skinned dudes and fucking all the women in Hollywood.
Oh, your favorite player? You can relate. Rooting for the light skinned dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Halle Berry, man, he fumbled it. Well,
And the other one had
put it
Mariah
on
Carey.
Jeter did.
Yeah, they were dating Halle Berry and Mariah Carey at the same time.
It's crazy.
At their peak. I mean, Halle Berry's still at her peak, but at their peak.
Yeah, I feel like Halle Berry had a longer prime than Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey in the 90s, she was top of the cream.
I think it was like late 90s, early 2000s when Mariah was like, look at me, motherfucker. Like, I'm a bad motherfucker too. When she came out with that Candy video or whatever it was. Or Honey, that's what it was, Honey.
Yeah, that was like 97. Yeah, when she had Diddy in there. I guess that video ain't gonna age well.
Of course not. Turns out it was baby oil everywhere. Anyway, you know who I always thought looked a lot like Halle Berry? Bobby Lashley's ex-wife and former WWE diva / wrestler Crystal Marshall.
I remember you mentioning that maybe off air, but I don't see it besides like the short hair. That's about it.
Short hair, little same build, light skin, both fucking still gorgeous as they're getting older.
She's attractive, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't come to mind when I think about Crystal Marshall. But shout out to Bobby Lashley for that. He had a couple kids with her, didn't he?
I don't know if they had kids together or not.
I say they did.
All right, well, let's get into it, EJ. We got to talk about some John Cena. He turned heel what seemed like in fucking 2 years ago because we hadn't seen him on TV since. And it turns out WWE was strategically making sure he was overseas or in a crowd that would be raucous. So they took him to Belgium? Brussels.
Yeah, Brussels. Yep.
And this crowd was incredible. John Cena's promo was incredible. Like, it was worth the wait. But his music hit, and I was like, damn, he ain't got no new music. And then he came out, and I was like, damn, he's still dressed like fucking babyface John Cena. And then about 5 minutes later, he told me to go fuck myself. I don't deserve a new John Cena look or a new John Cena music video. Like, tell me what your takeaways were from the promo, what you liked, what you didn't like, if you didn't like any of it, or if you liked any of it. Because I got a couple thoughts on it too.
I'll get the positive out of the way. I thought his delivery was fucking tremendous. He gave a reasoning on why, he kept everything the same. That's his words on the track, and that's how he dresses. But outside of that, I just want to call out the hypocritical so-called professional podcasters out there. I'm not going to call anybody out by name, but beforehand, I was hearing all of these tropes about how he needs to change his music and change his look. And as soon as he didn't, they swerved to the right like he did. How they thought him not changing his music and changing his clothes was brilliant. Literally flip-flopped on that. So what I personally think about it, I think it's lazy. Because I get it. They're probably trying to save money on cranking out new merch. He's probably gonna turn face probably sometime in the near future. So I get why not to change his look, but I don't know. That's just how you could like timestamp somebody's different era when they kind of change up the look. Work with Roman, even The Rock and he's on his like fourth, fifth act. Change to the final boss, change the music up. Even if you don't want to crank out new merch, why not have him come out in a suit and do old school no music? I think that would have been just as effective. So that's my take on it. I thought I thought the actual promo was brilliant, like I said, but I don't know. Like you said, he just came out the same music, same clothes.
I mean, they do have new merch though. He has a different fucking shirt in every city they go to.
Yeah, different shade of Fruity Pebbles in each city.
Right, but it's not the same like logo and shit like that. Like they have to come up with a different logo every time. So the merch is evergreen. Like it's changing every time they go somewhere. Also, as a heel, are you supposed to be selling merch? Like old school heels didn't have merch. Not this is an old school heel or old school way of thinking, but just like I don't think merch should be the first thing on your fucking mind when you're a babyface for 20 years and you turn heel. Speaking of, I love the line of, I'm not a babyface, I'm not a heel, I'm a human, and y'all have treated me like shit for 25 years. Look, as wrestling fans, we got cooked, as my boys say. We got cooked. Cena he been holding that shit in for so long. Even talked about the invisible joke. My boy said, the shit ain't funny. Like, yo, been saying it for 15 years.
That turned me into a meme about being invisible. That was funny.
I don't know. I liked a lot of what he was saying because a lot of it was true. Like, and now people are posting clips online. I just saw one before we came on and started recording. A guy posted, he announced he was injured and had to get surgery. And he was like, and I'm leaving the WWE. And the crowd fucking stood up and started applauding. Like, and that was in like 2009, I think. Some shit like that. Like, I think it said 2012. So it was like 13 years ago. My boy been holding this shit in for a while. He ain't even mentioned Cody. I don't give a fuck about Cody. I'm here to talk about you motherfuckers. I deal with Cody on fucking April 20th. Tonight, I'm here to talk about y'all. And y'all ain't shit. That boy said I'm in a dysfunctional relationship for 25 years. Whew.
He made all good points. Like you said, he pretty much cut all the fans out there. And, it was a good way to kick it off. And yeah, what also bothered me with it was these motherfuckers beat the shit out of you. One was throwing in potatoes on there. And you come out and do your regular entrance with the whoa and doing all this posing and shit. It's supposed to be on site. I didn't like it how he just came down in the ring normal.
Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, they know the vibe. Cody, nah, I gotta put this suit on. It took me 30 minutes to get this suit to look like this. You think I'm about to fight John Cena out here? Shit. I'm about to call him a bitch and exit stage left.
Even if you don't run down there and start throwing hands, don't do this playing up to the fans. Just come down in the ring with a serious look on your face. Let them. They're gonna do the wolf shit anyway. And he stood up on the. I want to say he stood up on the turnbuckle. Like, I don't know. Show some more vitriol after what they did to you.
Maybe he didn't know Cena was in the ring because he couldn't see him. See, that's John Cena. You'd be mad at me because that stupid fucking joke.
That's why I see they don't fuck with you.
I hope he don't unfollow me on Twitter. That'd be the heel turn if he went back and unfollowed everybody on Twitter. That would suck.
I mean, he's following everybody. Or whoever handles his account.
Here's a question I do have. So, Cena was out there cooking the crowd. Cody comes out. Cody gets all his shit in. Cena doesn't say anything. He tried to. Cody basically said, "Shut the fuck up." Cody said what he had to say and left, and Cena didn't have a retort. I'm wondering if Cena has the directive, don't go at Cody like you did The Rock. Don't go at Cody like you did Roman Reigns. Don't go at Cody like you did Bray Wyatt and Austin Theory and all these people where you just went out there and said whatever the fuck you wanted to and destroyed them on the microphone. This is supposed to be our guy. Your ass is retiring, okay? We don't need you making this dude look bad when he's the one that's going to be here for the next 5-10 years. I wonder if that was the directive, because I'm watching that and I'm like, all right, get him, Cena. And he just fucking stood there. I'm like, Cody ain't that guy on the mic to where he just leaves John Cena speechless.
We still got time left, but they probably gave him some, things not to say back there. With The Rock, he cooked Rock, but Rock was Teflon at that point. It's nothing you could really do to really sink the Rock ship. And you also mentioned Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt had other issues of his own, so no matter what John Cena cooked them. Theory, that's the perfect example. It was over. It was pretty much over for him. And he didn't have Daddy Vince, but yeah, he cooked Theory, and Theory hadn't really bounced back. Even he had like an extended U.S. title reign after that while Vince was still there, and like it just wasn't hitting the same. So yeah, maybe they gave him the direction,
And don't forget Roman. Cena and Roman's first random match, I think they had it like Great Balls of Fire or No Way Out or some shit like that. And they had their first interaction in the ring. And Cena like was talking over him, and Roman and got fucking flustered. And Cena's like, come on, kid. If you want to be the main event guy, you got to fucking learn how to do this. And Roman just got frustrated and was like, if you just shut up for a second and let me talk, before he can like regather himself. And Cena just like, he's almost like a bully with that shit. Like, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
That was piling on to Roman at that point. But yeah, it definitely didn't help. And, we saw years later, Roman was able to hang with him when he was a tribal chief, 2021 SummerSlam. So, use that as a learning point. But yeah, they probably did direct him not to go too hard at Cody. I mean, what would be the real quote-unquote pipe bomb, take an expression from a certain wrestler? You mentioned how he failed at AEW.
I mean, he could have. I don't know what he would have said or could have said. I'm just saying, for him to just stand there and let Cody get all his shit in, and he literally just said, listen, kid, and Cody told him to shut up. For him to just stand there and take all that and not have a rebuttal, it was like, well, that's weird. And he just kind of walked away. Like, Cody even called him a bitch. Like, that's John Cena.
I think that was in the plans, not to say nothing this time. But you better believe it, like, before WrestleMania, it's going to be one promo where they're throwing some live rounds out there, where they're going back and forth, where Triple H will give him some talking points and be like, all right, time to, go toe-to-toe with this shit. And Cena's going to probably throw some shots at him, and we're going to see if Cody can sink or swim. He's going to have to rebuttal. I'm looking forward to it. It's got to happen.
Speaking of WrestleMania, if we're done with the John Cena talk, I have a bone to pick with WrestleMania stuff.
What's that?
As you know, I'm attending events in Las Vegas for WrestleMania. One of the events I was looking forward to was the WWE Fanatics, whatever. Like, used to be called Access. When they were here in Atlanta, it was like $30, I think we got in. We took pictures with wrestlers, the whole nine. Now I know prices have gone up on stuff. I'm also going to WrestleCon in Las Vegas, which I think I paid $45 to go for the entire week. So every day I get to go to WrestleCon that I want, and it was $45. And then of course you pay however much the meet and greets that you want to do are. So I was like, who would I do a meet and greet with in WWE? It's like, you know what? I'll go take a picture with Jey Uso. I wonder how much that'll be. How much do you think a picture with Jey Uso would run you, EJ?
$150, $2 probably.
Okay, well you I don't know if you're saying that just because I'm complaining about the price, or that was your actual thought. I thought it was gonna be like $75, something like that. You had to pay $90 for one day to go to the WWE The World, which they got a lot of shit in there from what I understand. So it's not just the meet and greets. Like, you're going to get to do some cool shit while you're in there. And I did want to go to that. So I bought that ticket. And then today the meet and greet tickets went on sale. I was in a virtual line while I was at work for over an hour. I signed in at 11 o'clock when they went on sale. You're next in line. You're next in line. That's all I kept saying. I kept refreshing. Like, the little guy was walking closer. By the time I got there, Jey Uso was sold out for Friday. Rhea Ripley's going to be there. I was like, I ain't really in. Like, she ain't my favorite, but I wonder what a picture would run me for that. Doesn't matter. Sold out. $135 before taxes and fees for Jey Uso.
I overshot a little bit, but I knew it was going to be...
After taxes and fees, you were right, though.
I knew it was going to be something expensive. Now, would I pay that? Hell no. Like,
I wouldn't
would go
either.
$50, $70.
Exactly.
That's what I think I would pay, but I had to think, that since you were complaining, but I knew it had to be expensive.
Well,
and, I mean, it's TKO, baby. Blame them.
When I went to New York, WrestleMania, what was that, 35, that Becky Lynch was the main event in New York? So that's, what, 7 years ago? I went up there, and I went to WWE Access, and Sting, not Ethan Page, EC3, and some other woman they had at the time we were there. You just go in, we paid $45 and get a picture with Sting. Not $45 on top of how much it was to get in. Pay $45 to get in, walk around the whole place, see all the memorabilia, and do all the shit they got, live matches and all that. And you get a picture with Sting. You can't even get in the door for less than $100 now. And then you got to pay on top of that. It's wild to me.
Wild to me, too.
And then I saw Kofi's going to be there on Friday. And for those of you who don't know, I have a big gold world title where I have, I'm trying to collect all the black world champions to sign it. Kofi's one of them, obviously. It ain't even worth the money it's going to cost. I'll wait till my boy retires and goes to WrestleCon, and I'll pull up over there like I did with Mark Henry and Booker T and everybody. This shit's crazy.
I don't think it's the wrestlers that are setting the price. I think it's the backstage personnel, because they get a cut of that. So you can't really blame the wrestlers like that.
Fanatics and, yeah, you're right. But the price differential was crazy too, right? Because it was like $135 for Jey Uso, but like $50 for a picture with Chelsea Green.
That's it, Chelsea?
I'd rather take a picture with Chelsea Green than Jey Uso.
They ain't trying to protect our girl at all. You know, all the neckbeards are gonna pay $50 so they could breathe and sweat all over.
Can we take it like a prom photo?
Creepy when they do that. You know what thought was funny though, when Chris Brown was taking prom picture with all of those women fans. I think in reverse it's just funny. But when it's the other way around, it's a little bit creepy. But yeah, man, I get why they're trying to make money, but like, what are y'all trying to say, that these people are that much more important than us where you got to charge that much just to meet and greet them? That's so ridiculous to me.
Stone Cold Steve Austin will be at WWE The World. $335 before taxes and fees for a picture.
Yeah. Getting like a 80% cut of that, Stone Cold, so they had to jack that price up for him.
$335 motherfucking dollars. That is wild to me. I didn't even see how much it cost for Cody, but I saw he was sold out too. But that was the other thing. I was in line at 11 o'clock after having to buy the ticket. You had to buy a ticket for that day to even be able to purchase the meet and greet thing. Like, if I would have got through and tried to do it, I would have had to prove that I had a ticket for that day, because they didn't want scalpers to get in and sell them, which I guess makes sense. But by the time I got in, everything I wanted was sold out, which was a good thing, because then I'd be mad because I wasn't going to pay that. And I'd be like, well, fuck, I could have did that, but I ain't paying $135 for that. I don't know how much it's going to cost to take a picture with Mike Tyson, but I am going to pay that, because when the fuck else would I get to take a picture with Mike Tyson?
That's what some people probably think about Stone Cold as well.
Yeah,
He's almost like Mike Tyson,
that's true.
wrestling.
I mean, I've never met. I mean, I've met Stone Cold, but never like at a meet and greet. And I don't have any pictures with him. Like I've never met him like that. But I don't know. Would I pay that much for The Rock? Huh? Probably not. I feel like it. I feel like that much money and that many people, stars that big, it's just such a fucking transactional meeting.
Yeah, it's not
You know,
organic.
like I've met.
No,
We've talked about this before. I've
or
met Mickey James many times. My favorite female wrestler. She's always polite. She's always nice. She always talks to Cody. I'll say this. I've met Cody like 3 or 4 times before he got to WWE when he was in AEW, ROH, and New Japan. This motherfucker will talk your ear off when you go to a meet and greet. Like, Cody gives you your money's worth. And a lot of shit that Cody does now is kind of contrived and I don't really like it. But when they tell you that production and shit gets mad at Cody because he's always hanging out with the fans after the shows and shit like that, I believe it because I've fucking seen it.
probably more so even when he was in AEW.
Well, I met him.
Yeah,
I met him in ROH,
RH.
and I had a Dallas Cowboys hat on, and he was like, "Yeah, my sister used to cheer for the Cowboys, and my dad loved the Cowboys." Blah blah blah. And we were talking about that for a minute, and then when All In happened, and we took a picture with him and Brandy, he looks at me and he looks up again, and he's like, and he had this look on his face, and I was like, "Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys fans. You told me about your sister." He's like, "That's right. What city was that?" I was like, "Atlanta." He goes, "Okay, it was center stage." Like he remembered all that. And I'm like, "How the fuck?" But I don't think I get that with The
You
Rock.
but greed, man. Greed comes into play, and that's a dangerous game to play because if you make it so that the talent are so not accessible, that could turn fans off in the long term, and I don't think you want to play that game.
I've already told you I'm all elite now. Like the only reason I'm going to Mania this year is because it's in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, you've been on TV more than some of the wrestlers on AEW this year.
I'm all elite. I don't give a damn how much I don't like their storylines. I can afford their shit.
That's true, but that's a shame, man.
They sent out an email today. You can have brunch with John Cena during WrestleMania for 25 G's.
Rolling out the red carpet, it must be brunch and something else. Some ladies of the night over in
It is Vegas.
for that price.
Imagine getting a brunch with John Cena for 25 grand, and this motherfucker's still in character and don't like your motherfucking ass.
Like MJF does.
Yeah, he just joning on you the whole time. Look at your fat ass. What, you want another round of bacon? You want some more avocado toast, you little bitch?
That restaurant Dick's. Have you ever been there?
Oh yeah, I have actually. I was literally just thinking about that today. I was trying to remember. That's in Excalibur in Vegas, I think.
Oh, they have one in Vegas.
Yeah. So me and my girlfriend were staying in Vegas one day last year, and she was a little hungover. So I was like, well, I gotta get a Bloody Mary or some kind of breakfast in me. So I'm gonna go downstairs, and this was the only place open. And I sat down, and there's a couple sitting next to me, and there's a very flamboyant guy behind the bar. And another woman comes in, and he just starts talking shit to this lady. And I'm like, do y'all know each other or something? She's like, no, I've never been here before. And then I looked, and I'm like, oh, I'm at Dick's. Does that mean they're actually being dicks? He never actually said anything to me, but he was on one. He called this woman all kind of bitches and hoes, like, told her hair looked like shit, like she had just gotten fucked and came downstairs for breakfast. Like, he was going in on her. I was like,
They didn't throw a bread roll at you?
no, it was only like 3 or 4 people sitting at the bar. Like, I was just there for a Bloody Mary, and I was actually like kind of scared to fucking ask for one. I was like, I don't want this motherfucker talking shit about me. I got a hangover. Like, I just need a Bloody Mary. They're the only ones open.
Yeah, great concept of a restaurant. I think I went to the one in Massachusetts or New York, somewhere. I think Northeast, and like you said, they'll give it to you.
Well, I'm staying at Excalibur again for some of my trip in Mania, EJ. We ought to go fucking have dinner at Dick's one night. See how much shit they talk
Hilarious.
about us.
You
Or at
can
least go to the bar and
bring
grab a
us-
couple drinks.
bring the story back here. I'm down for it.
You locked down any hotel stuff yet? I can't remember if you said that or not last week.
I did, and I forgot the name of it. It's close to your side. Excalibur is close to the MGM side, right?
It's across the street, but yeah, it's like a half a mile from MGM. So it's like the stadium is connected to Mandalay Bay, which is connected to the Luxor, which is connected to Excalibur, and like they all that little walkthrough that we were in when we went to the Speakeasy, me, you, Jason, and Tom. That connects all the hotels, and then you just keep on walking through all the hotels and casinos, and you go through another tunnel, and you can get to the Raider Stadium. But MGM Grand's across the street from all that.
I'm on that side of town. I'm not directly on the boulevard, but I'm like right off of Tropicana. I can't remember the name of the hotel at the top of my head. I'm tripping. I'm close.
Yeah, I'm at Circa for a couple days downtown, which I fucking love. I think by the time you get into town, I'll be out of Circa because I'm only staying there 2 nights. The first night I get there, and the second night, and then I move over to the Strip, which is where all the other shit is going down. But I can't go to Vegas and not stay downtown a couple of nights. Like I fucking love Fremont and the whole vibe down there. It's just fucking alive, man. Oh, some guy hit me up on Twitter. He sent me his business card and everything. He runs he's one of the Circa like pit bosses or whatever. And I was talking about that, and he's like, yeah, let me know. Apparently they're doing WrestleMania watch parties at the Stadium Swim. Have you ever seen Stadium Swim?
Yeah, I've been to Stadium Swim like during pool season.
They're doing that there, and they're doing it at the sports book. They'll have WrestleMania and NXT on at the sports book. I think he said it was like $40 for admission for it.
Well, if some reason tickets don't turn out the way that they should, then it's definitely an option.
Yeah, I might have to reach out to him, see if I can get a room or two at the D or something. It don't have to be at Circa. You can give it to me at the D. The D's right down the road. I'll stay there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. Like you said, tickets I'm still watching. They're like going up and down now. But I think you're right. I think about a week beforehand, these scalpers just start getting nervous, and the prices will start dropping.
Usually, yes. So, we're about a month out. It's coming up fast.
Yeah, 4 weeks from tomorrow is when I fly out. Let's get to the BET Top 15 Black Wrestlers.
Let's get it. Did you get a chance to even look at the list?
I have not. I saw when you sent this to me, I had a bunch going on today, but I saw there was a list the other day where Booker T was number 1. Is this that same list?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same list.
Okay. I think The Rock was number 2.
I got it right in front of me. They had Jazz at 15, Shelton Benjamin 14,
Oh,
Naomi, Naomi 13, Jacqueline 12, Biggie 11, Devon Dudley 10,
What?
Bianca Belair 9, Bobby Lashley 8, Farouk Ron Simmons 7, JYD Junkyard Dog 6, Sasha Banks Mercedes Moné 5, World's Strongest Man Mark Henry 4, Kofi number 3, and The Rock number 2, and like you said, your boy Booker T at number 1.
Okay.
I think I heard from your like gas. I think the only thing you arguing.
How the fuck do you have Devon Dudley ranked higher than Shelton Benjamin, Naomi, and Jazz? Besides being a tag team wrestler, he never really won. He never did anything. I don't mean to shit on Devon. Devon wasn't that good of a wrestler. Now, how are they basing this? Are they basing this on like best wrestlers or like overall? Because I could argue that The Rock should be number one. I could argue that Sasha and Bianca should be a little bit higher, respectively. I could argue that Ron Simmons should be top 5. He's the first black world champion of a major company. And they got Junkyard Dog ranked higher than him. Now, Junkyard Dog was the man in his time, but a lot of people remember Junkyard Dog for just like dancing around in WWF. Junkyard Dog was that nigga on the streets though, not the streets. I'm trying to think what company he wrestled in before he went to WWF. It might have been AWA.
He was in Memphis territory, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he was in Memphis. I'm sure he jumped around a lot. I mean, it's before my time, but I've seen like for you to be a black wrestler and get over as much as he was back then, you really had to be that guy. And he was, so I could argue that he should be higher. Kofi's up there for longevity, but Kofi Mania was awesome, but it was like a cup of coffee at the top. Like I could, if I had to make a top 5, and this is why this is hard and why I don't want to shit on their list, because as I'm talking about it out loud, I'm like, well, this person's got to move, and then it's like, well, who do you kick out?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. If I had to make my top 5, it would go like, I'm doing this live, people. It's almost like my power rankings. I would go Rock with number 1, Booker T number 2, Ron Simmons number 3, and Sasha and Bianca at 4 and 5.
I'm not gonna push back on that list, and I'm not even gonna attempt to do that myself because I'm not. Excuse me. I'm not mad at their top 5. Like you said, you could vouch for The Rock over Booker T, but if you look at it from the perspective of like if they have like the equivalent of like Booker T was the equivalent of what The Rock was in WWE. Booker T won the belt 5 times with WCW, and he had the tag team career, and he went over to WWE and was a world champion. So that's why I'm not going to push back. Yeah, King Booker. Of course, The Rock was a lot more popular, especially outside of wrestling, and I don't think nobody could touch The Rock on the mic in his prime as well. But that's why I'm not going to argue too much against their list.
Yeah.
The Devon thing is kind of weird, but what I kind of scratch my head at is you got a lot of blowback online. People our age, maybe a slightly older, were complaining about people not on the list. They were like, where's Bobo Brazil and where's Ernie Ladd and where's Butch Reed? I'm like, motherfucker, y'all weren't around when these motherfuckers were wrestling. Fuck, where Bobo Brazil at? And I guess you could say the same thing about JYD, but I feel like JYD was so much film like played back on like WWE and then the network and all that. But they're talking about Ernie Ladd. Was it Ernie Ladd like in the 70s or and Bobo Brazil was like the 50s? Like they don't even have footage of them and y'all vouching for them. Like get the fuck out of here.
They rounding the bases like Babe Ruth on all their tapes. Like that shit is so old. Them motherfuckers running the ropes like Braun Breaker, but they really wasn't that fast.
Exactly. Butch Reed was more modern because he was with Farouk and Doom, but still, they were like I saw a lot of Bobo Brazil and Ernie. Like, no disrespect to the legends, but like I said, it's people our age vouching for them just to have outrage just for outrage's sake. Like so. Overall, I'm not mad at the list. You could, like you said, you can mix it up like kind of like you did. But
I mean, I could definitely see taking Devon off of here and putting one of them on there. And again, I ain't trying to hate on Devon. I don't know. He just stands out on this list to me. Like,
I might even throw Truth on there instead of Devon. Truth is NWA champion.
First black NWA world champion. Before it was NWA TNA. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It was NWA TNA when he won.
It's the early phases of it, though.
But still, like, he's a world champion.
Exactly.
Damn, I should get R-Truth to sign my belt.
What's that?
I need to get R-Truth to sign my belt.
Yeah, that'd be dope. But But their list, I don't know what the credentials are. I don't know if they just toss
Yeah.
names in the hat. It would have been dope if they expanded a little bit, but you probably still have people complain if they made it 30. They
Yeah.
be listing
It is.
like where's Ernest Miller on there? Y'all left Ernest Miller.
He lives in my neighborhood.
Hey, for real?
Yeah.
Somebody call my mama.
It is a good list. I love that they got Jazz on there because Jazz was really, and Miss Jackie, they were really both, I think, underrated at their time.
Man, Jackie was fighting dudes in WCW.
Yeah. She wasn't scared to let them things thing either.
Everybody saw that VHS. I was 10 years old. I definitely wasn't supposed to be looking at stuff like that.
I was like, what in the world just happened? Am I recording this? That was my first thought. Was it that little red light on? Let me see what's happening.
Puffy Vince Combs, man. You know he green lighted that shit.
Yeah. Jackie, she was a fucking badass, man. She was put together. And I loved her. She was one of the ones that had a really good Hall of Fame speech that I liked too. And people talking about her. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, man, Lex
Messed
Luger.
up. I was gonna say, you know, it's kind of messed up now I think about it. Kind of subliminal racist shit that Vince allowed with that. So when Jackie did it, she had to show it all, but when Sable did it at Fully Loaded, she had like the pasties covering up. Like,
I mean, Sable was
bullshit.
butt crack ass naked and Playboy though.
Yeah, that's on her own accord. And
No,
the cat went rogue.
that was through WWE. She wouldn't have got on Playboy if it wouldn't have been through WWE. They had to okay her to do that, and then
They gave her the okay. They gave her the okay, but they didn't make her go in front of the ring and the fans.
I don't want to defend fucking Creepy McCreeperson, Vince McMahon, but
Kind of hard.
I'm sure Playboy was like, "Yo, don't let her show none of her goodies on TV because we want people to buy the fucking magazine." So they walked up to the line, they just never fucking crossed it, and then they had a bunch of perverts like me waiting in line the day that it came out to go buy it.
Okay, that may be true, but how come no other non-Playboy divas back then had to go on WWE air and show them things off?
I mean, they just couldn't pull their titties out like every show. EJ, the cat did it, like you said earlier.
She went rogue, and I think she got in trouble for that. She just pulled her own top off. You could tell that wasn't a part of the show.
I wonder whatever happened to her after she broke up with the king.
That was it for her career. They have no use for you. It's kind of
What do you
messed up.
What do you think she looks like now?
Like, boy, I don't even want to say it. I ain't trying to get us canceled. Hey, shout out to the cat.
No, don't do that. The Miller, yeah, Ernest Miller. Shout out to my dog, my neighbor.
She did some fucked up shit that I don't know about.
No, I'm just saying she's a weirdo. She's married to Jerry Lawler when she was like 23 years old.
He's aware. He like married like somebody younger than me after that, or was dating her. I don't know if they're still together.
Yeah.
Literally younger than me.
Oh, Jerry Lee Lewis Lawler.
Yes, dude. Yeah.
The BT list though, I do like it. I know or at least I poked fun at it, but I do think it is a good list. It's a thoughtful list too. I mean, they put women in here. They got some really good people in here too. And honestly, The Rock and Booker T, if you list black wrestlers in The Rock and Booker T ain't number 1 and number 2, then I question what your list is. So they did get that part right. We were talking about the Hall of Fame a second ago. It came out this week that the total package Lex Luger is going into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, remember?
No, I don't remember that. I don't remember what we talked about week to week.
Remember I was telling you that it was him and Sting were like neck and neck.
Oh, yeah, we did have that conversation. I talk too much wrestling, man. I forget what I'm talking about half the time. Well, never mind. Fuck Luger. Let's.
No, let's do that. Remember, I was like, I might go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I might go to the Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame is what, on Friday?
Yeah, and it's not the same event as SmackDown, so
yeah, I saw that.
it'll be pretty cool.
TKO trying to get
Wait,
all that.
I don't think we
money.
talked.
They said we're not about to give
I
you
don't know
no
if it's
2-for-1 discount.
exactly. That's pain. That's like I said, it's the TKO era, baby. But I don't think it's officially been announced, but it's a rumor that the natural disasters are supposed to get in. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, and I don't want to talk bad about them, but I don't really care for them. So, whatever.
You didn't like Earthquake? You didn't like what
No,
was
I
his
didn't.
name in
I didn't like
WCW? The Shark?
Typhoon. I didn't like Tugboat.
Goga?
I didn't like fucking.
Goga was dope.
I didn't like the Shockmaster. I didn't like the Shark. Like, they had so many different name changes. Honestly, the Natural Disasters was probably their best fucking gimmick between the two of them.
That was like before I really started watching wrestling. That was one of my earliest memories of wrestling. Of course, the Model Racist, Macho Man, and then like I think my mom got me a couple of Earthquake and Typhoon figures. You know, that was the gimmick, because there was just two big ass dudes named after natural disasters.
Imagine being so fat that your fucking boss is like, you know what your finishing move is going to be? You're just going to sit on people. You're just going to jump around the ring and sit on the motherfucker. He ain't going to be able to get up. Well, you know, I could do this drop kick. No, fuck that. You're just going to sit on him. Well, you know, I got this new submission I've been working. No. You're going to jump around the ring and make the rope shake, and then you're going to sit on him because you named the Earthquake.
Be bullying nowadays, but I don't want to get too far off track. What about like Yokozuna? He sat on you from the top rope. I still don't see how they do it. I know it's you know, bells and whistles how they do it, but I was reading something behind the scene. Somebody was saying, I think it might have been Maven or somebody, one of those, said that move actually sucks to take. So they must be feeling something. Nia does it nowadays. Rikishi was doing it.
I imagine it does suck. Yokozuna was 500 something pounds. He can only control that shit so much.
He probably actually caught somebody for real. I think he did. I can't remember who it was. He might have caught Nash or something like that. Like he didn't get to brace himself enough where he fucking really. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah,
Nia fucking
cut the check for me.
Yeah, Nia will do it sometimes, and she'll sit down and kick her legs out where all her body weight's on their stomach. I'm like, damn, she must not fucking like Liv Morgan. She tried to kill her.
Oh, Liv. But yeah, I mean, I guess you weren't a Earthquake and Typhoon fan, but it looks like they're gonna get in. So
Good
I don't know. Maybe Triple H like them.
They clearly don't like Mickie James. We talked about that too last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we talked about them kicking her off LFG, but she does need to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not trying to take away from Michelle McCool, but
I will.
She's in. Why can't Mickie James be in there?
Mickie James ain't married to the Undertaker.
Nepotism, politics, man, it will always be around, but nothing we can do about it, unfortunately.
Let's touch on a little bit of AEW. This week we got Copeland and Moxley in a street fight for the world title, because apparently Copeland he didn't get beat in his world title match, so which means if somebody cashes in, you get a rematch if you're not the one that gets beat. Makes no sense to me. And then you got Dynasty in 3 weeks. So EJ, as the guy that was at Dynasty last year, where do you see this ending up at Dynasty? You see it being a 3-way with Cope, Mox, and Swerve? Or just a 1-on-1 with either or?
Before I touch on that, AEW Dynamite was fucking hitting all year, and Collision, and then all that momentum, and Tony Khan farted out that episode of Dynamite. Like, it was on such a good streak. Like, what the fuck was that on Dynamite? The promos weren't bad, but like Orange Cassidy and Drew Listico main eventing. Nobody from the pay-per-view main eventing, like following up on. See, that's why I don't know if I mentioned this on air. It shouldn't have. That's always gonna happen just because people are paying for it. That's Tony Khan's mentality. All he had to do was move like 3 matches off of that to the following week of TV.
Yeah.
Like you could have Mercedes main event, And then could have Okada and
I've,
Brody
I,
main event.
I feel like the perfect match to move off of there would have been the Hurt Syndicate and the Outrunners.
Especially that one. Like you had like three candidates, and then came out with Orange Cassidy and Drew Gullisko. But I digress. I don't get it. Like you said, why does Copeland get a rematch? I'm hearing that they didn't get to execute all the stuff they wanted from the main event.
So what, you get a do-over?
Copeland, what's that?
So what, they get a do-over?
His mentality. I'm sure they're gonna go all out. Don't get me wrong. Once the bell rings, they're gonna try to prove people wrong because everybody's been praising Revolution. Besides the main event, everybody's been shitting on
the worst fucking match.
You know, I'm sure they read the dirt sheets and the happenings around wrestling. So they're gonna take and it's no disqualification in street fights. So I'm sure they're gonna go all out. Within the first 5 minutes, Mox is gonna be bleeding the faucet. But yeah, I don't really get the point of it unless it's gonna be like a big storyline that comes out of it. Yeah, I see it being Mox and our boy Swerve because I think Switchblade or Christian are gonna get involved somehow.
Have they done away with the Death Riders without telling us? Because they haven't been on TV for a while now.
I mean, they're supposed to be concussed allegedly when Colt took them all out, so maybe this will be their return. And they're still the trios champ. We saw Yuta at the pay-per-view. We seen him. Like you said,
yeah, but he didn't come out and help.
What was that?
He didn't come out and help Moxley.
That's exactly who he came out and acted like he's gonna hit Moxley, and he hit Cope at the Revolution.
Did he? I must have fell asleep during that part. I'm not trying to be funny. That was a long fucking pay-per-view on a Sunday night. I was fighting my life trying to stay awake towards the end of that. Once Tony Storm and Mariah did their thing, I was like just dozing constantly. You still had fucking Omega and Takeshita. I definitely slept through that one. I woke up just in time to see the one-winged angel. It was like a NASCAR event.
I don't see how people watch cars going around a circle. Now, I've attended NASCAR in person. It's a lot more fun in person because you get there, bring your own cooler in the event, and just get drunk watching cars go fast.
You bring your own cooler to your living room, too. What's stopping you?
That's true. But I'm saying, at least in person, I don't know, it's a different experience in person. I can't believe, I don't even want to talk, literally bring politics in it, because I went there during the first term of a certain president. I'm surprised, like, I didn't, I had a pleasant time.
Yeah.
Me not looking like this is but it was also Sonoma. Sonoma's in California, so
right.
For what it's worth.
Wine country.
But yeah. What do you think? What do you think the outcome of this?
I think Moxley's gonna win. He'll go on the not Revolution. He'll go on the Dynasty to fight Swerve. I'm really conflicted with that one though. Like everything in me tells me that they should just go ahead and put the title back on Swerve now. But it's like this whole Death Riders. It's stupid, right? Like you want this Death Rider storyline to be over with, but you also don't want it to end on some bullshit because it's like I've sat through 3 seasons of this fucking TV show. Like, at least pay it off at the end. I don't want it to just end with Swerve winning and them fucking dying off. Like, I do want Swerve to win, but I want it to be a storyline and I want it to make sense. But I don't know. We might not get that. We might just get them admitting after almost a fucking year that the Death Rider storyline was trash, and they might have just fucking scrapped it quietly without making a big production out of it. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, and I love some Swerve, but I don't know. It'd just be kind of weird for them to pivot. You gotta listen to the fans sometimes, but I don't know. For him to win it again at Dynasty, like you said, it'd kind of be like if it just ended on that note, even though it's going to one of the most overdues in the company, so I wouldn't, go fighting and screaming about it. But I don't know, man. I know you're not a Darby fan. It just kind of pissed me off because they were setting it up in the very beginning of the story where Mox said he would never win the title and shitted on them if you don't pay that off somehow. But on the top of my list is Darby, but I know that's a long shot. And then second, though, I got Hangman a little bit ahead of Swerve of winning the championship again because we hadn't seen this iteration of Hangman with the championship belt. He was still on a climb, kind of up and coming when he won it off. Who did he win? He won it off of Omega. So they tied that story back then. But, this is pretty much the same iteration of Swerve. I kind of want to see this new Hangman get it at Double or Nothing since it looks like they're not even worrying about Darby anymore, which is a shame.
I wouldn't be mad at Swerve getting it and then defending it against Ospreay at All In. They had a banger of a match last year and put all those people in that baseball stadium in Texas and let them just go out there and fucking steal the show. I feel like this All In is one of the most important shows in AEW's short history because attendance is down, ratings are down. Like you said, the shows have been really good, but I really think they need to knock it out of the park as far as what happens on screen. They're going to have fans there. People are going to tune into it. But I think if you want to grow, like, this needs to be your fucking... You need to go all in, for lack of a better term. And I think a main event with Swerve and Will Ospreay for the world title, you get Tony Storm and Mercedes wrestling each other for the world title. I'm trying to think of somebody they could build up to fight the Hurt Syndicate around that time. Maybe MJF and Moxley. Who hadn't MJF wrestled? He's wrestled everybody, hadn't he?
He hadn't wrestled
Copeland.
Ricochet, but you want two faces. Yeah, you could do him and Cope. I don't think he's wrestled Adam Copeland. Yeah, he's pretty much wrestled everybody. Has he wrestled? Yeah, he wrestled Omega.
Has he wrestled Okada?
He hasn't wrestled Okada. You got options with him. I mean,
I think they need to make this a big fucking, like, you want to call this your WrestleMania? Make it your fucking WrestleMania. Like, let's fucking go. There's so many ways they could go with this, and so many, like, can't miss matches where if you put and I'm sorry, like, Moxley, he was a guy 5 years ago, but he's not anymore. He doesn't need to be in a prominent role. And if he doesn't like that, then don't be on the show. You hear all this shit about these wrestlers that don't want to lose and don't want to go along with storylines and shit like that in AEW. And now a couple of them are gone, as far as Miro and Aleister Black. And I think that's a good starting point. I think it was a good starting point getting rid of Punk for everything that he did. Like, Tony Khan is known, from everything we hear, to be a bit of a pushover boss. And I think it's time for him to start putting his fucking foot down and taking control of his company. And, like, you got talented wrestlers. You got people that are over. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting these good dynamites out. But when All In time comes around, you need to be fucking hitting on all cylinders. And it's your first big stadium show besides, like, the tennis matches, Arthur Ashe. But it's your first, like, huge stadium pay-per-view show. And you need to fucking knock it out of the park. You really do.
First huge one domestically. They did All In.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In the States.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear that part. Yeah, I mean, regardless on how business is doing, if you are molding that show, you need to knock it out the park regardless. But like you said, especially, now that they're kind of at a crossroads. So, but to your earlier thought, I wouldn't be mad if Swerve was a transitional champion only for that specific reason. If he would drop it to, not Okada, Will Ospreay at All In, because, you can't keep Osprey away from the title forever. I mean, that's your guy, I think. But as far as John Moxley goes, yeah, I mean, things come in waves. It's just your time to let other people shine at this point. You won the title 4 times. I don't think y'all need to go the route, Attitude Era. It was hot potato and ruthless aggression, and you got 10 and 13 time winners. Make it so 4 is like a number that's like almost unattainable. They have these long ass reigns, so there's no need for him to have the belt anymore after he drops it now. So, yeah, it's time. It's time to do like a complete reinvention of Mox. Maybe not a complete reinvention, but something to spice it up because, yeah, at the beginning, the Death Riders situation was very intriguing because they kind of alluded that somebody was the puppet master. Now, that never unfolded. I thought the stuff going into Revolution wasn't bad where Cope was taking out everybody, but then you get to the match and it was that. So, yeah, it's time to figure out an exit point for this thing.
As you were talking and you said you can't keep the title off of Ospreay for too long, and I was just sitting here thinking about it, I pictured Will Ospreay with the AEW World title, and I didn't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't know, and I love Will Ospreay, but I don't know. I think maybe making him chase a little. He hadn't really chased the belt yet either. Like, everybody always slots him in. Oh, All In's going to be in London this year. Ospreay needs to win the world title. And then he's not in the world title match. And people count that as a chase. But he's never actually chased the world title. Until this past week, this interview that he did where he said he wants to enter the Owen Cup and he wants to win the world title. But he's never actually chased it. So he had a world title match with Swerve last year. Was that chasing or was that him winning a little, 2-day tournament and getting a shot at a pay-per-view?
It's a chance to chase it. I mean, still got July. It's like 3-4 months from now, so this is an opportunity to chase it.
Nah, I want him to chase it. I want him to chase it for a year.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I want him to go on a Cody journey where he loses this year at All In, and then he comes back out on Wednesday. Fucking Brock Lesnar shows up and beats the fuck out of him. And then they have a feud for 3-4 months. And then he's got to win the Royal Rumble. Obviously I'm being hyperbolic with that, but something like that, right? Lose at All In, get sidetracked for a couple months, restate your claim, get sidetracked again, and then win a match or a tournament or something to where you're at All In again for the world title and actually win it. But take him on don't just... Ospreay doesn't need to be hot-shotted to the world title. And I feel like mentioning you want to be champion in March and then winning it in July, to me, is a hot shot.
I mean, that's no different from winning the Royal Rumble. I mean, yeah, Jay, he had a few title shots before then. Had the situations with his cousin Roman. He had it during the pandemic, and then they came back around to it after the Hollywood Mania. They came back to that SummerSlam, but he hadn't really had any issues with Gunther up until this point. So.
Him and Gunther had beef since Gunther was the IC champion, and then Gunther beat him in the King of the Ring tournament. He's had beef with Gunther for a while.
I could have swore. I thought he beat Braun Breaker for the belt.
He did. He lost to Gunther for the IC title because Jimmy Uso came out and cheated for him when he was about to win. Him and Gunther smoked that IC title match. And then Gunther beat him in the King of the Ring tournament. And then Gunther beat him again on Saturday night's main event for the world title. Another really good match that they had. So, Jay's been chasing... Honestly, you're right. You want to know what you're right about?
What's that?
You said when he won the IC title that he should have just went and won the world title. And now I feel like him already winning the IC title kind of does. Jay's going to be popular as hell. But if this was his first singles title that he's going after at WrestleMania after winning the Royal Rumble, like, it just makes it that more like urgent. Like, you got to do it now. You've already lost to this fucking guy. You won the Royal Rumble. But I don't think it'll take shine off of it, but I think it could have added more shine to it had he not won the IC title.
Yeah, him not winning a title at all, like, that'll put doubt in people's mind that he might still not get over the hump. But now, this is probably going to be his crowning moment. It'll still be, like you said, it'll still be a good moment. People in crowds still going to be throwing their hands up, but
I don't like
it. Takes shine off. What's that?
I don't like it. I don't like how everybody's just like, yeah, Jay's going to win. Because every time that happens, WWE throws a curveball. Like, if I go to Vegas and I pay all that money to go watch WrestleMania, and I go to night one, which is where Jay probably will be, and he rushes at Gunther and catches a boot to the face and 3 power bombs and gets beat, I'm gonna be fucking furious.
Possibility. And they might try to set it up for Backlash, which is gonna be 2 hours down the road from me. So
I feel like they would get rid of so much goodwill with the fans if they did that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be pretty, especially the IWC blowback.
So, I mean, they've been hating on Jay, so IWC says Jay Uso sucks and he's not over and he's only got one move. So
I know they're saying that immediately after the Rumble. That's what they're still crying about.
Oh yeah, they've been saying it.
That's some grass.
Well, EJ, we're done with our AEW talk. Some kind of way we got on to Jay Uso.
I know one thing I missed about AEW that I don't like. Megan Bayne going there and attacking Tony Storm.
You said you don't like?
Nope, not at all. No, she's not beating Tony Storm. Have her. The point of having the TBS title, if it's not levels to women, their ascension to the top.
I agree. I don't think she's beaten Tony Storm, and I don't think she should be taking a loss this early. So yeah, I hear you, but I also think they're doing a really good job of building up a woman in the division. So now you got multiple heavy hitters in the division. You got Tony Storm, you got Mariah May, you got Mercedes Moné, you got Willow, you got Statlander sometimes, and now you got Megan Bayne in there, which is what they wanted Camille Brickhouse to be, which is what they wanted Jade to be. And I don't know, I'm digging it. I like she just seems like an ass kicker. They've done a good job of making her seem like just this indestructible force. So I just hope they don't go the way of Wardlow with her, where she's over as hell, they got her winning, and then she loses the world title match and we don't see her for 7 months.
I don't know if I see her for 7 months, but like you said, I love the way they're presenting her. She looks like an Amazon goddess out there, but she's not gonna beat Tony Storm. And then what? We don't know what they're gonna do after that.
I mean, there's a way to do it. She's fucked up so many people. They could easily have somebody come in and, she could get the loss through a nefarious mean, unbeknownst to Tony Storm. And then she's still over. Tony Storm's still over. And now she's got a feud with somebody else. And Tony Storm can go on to do whatever she does. There's ways around it, but, I do think you're right. I think it's a bit early for her to be going for the world champion when, for everything we believe, she's not going to win. Now, she could win, and then all this conversation is for naught. But I think you're right. I don't think there's a shot in hell she's beating Tony Storm.
Like you said, there's ways to do it. The ways you set out make sense. But Tony Khan isn't going to go that way. It's got to be a straight up winner and a straight up loser. And then back of the line for Megan, which is unfortunate. What I'm trying to map out is, I think Sasha is going to be involved with a world championship, but I don't know if it's going to be double or nothing or all in. So I'm kind of seeing how things play out in that regard.
I feel like all in is the place for it.
Yeah, I think you could. I think you can. She doesn't have to do anything at Dynasty. She defends it at double or nothing one more time. Like you said, she could just drop it and go for the world title. So,
but the thing we were talking about last week with her, like, cashing in the TBS championship, if she's a belt collector, she ain't going to want to get rid of any of her titles to get another one. She's going to want to win them all. So, I don't know. They kind of booked themselves into a corner with this one if they want her to go after the world title anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess we just gotta stay tuned on what they do with it.
Speaking of staying tuned, who in the world of pro wrestling had on street clothes this week that made you not turn your TV off, EJ?
Well, I don't know if I like the way you worded that based on the person I picked. I got Mr. Seth freaking Rollins, a street clothes wrestler of the week. He had to have, that's why I said what I just said. But
go ahead, he
had the half black, half green suit, and he had the gold chain on like he was a 80s rapper, gold watch, shades on, popping shit at Reigns and Punk, and saying he about to pull up a SmackDown. I'm curious.
Man, he just going to different countries to whoop Roman Reigns' ass.
Seth's always been a snake, and people just gloss over that for some reason.
Yeah, he has. He is kind of a piece of shit. He gets a pass because he's married to Becky Lynch, who's a gem. Salt to the earth, Becky Lynch.
That should make you hate him even more.
Yeah, I don't want to marry her.
Doing CrossFit moves all over the bedroom.
Chalk everywhere.
Exactly.
Why is there a tire in the bed, babe? What the fuck is this about? A sledgehammer. What are we doing? Is that a rowing machine? My street clothes wrestler of the week. Listen, I have long not given this person their credit, but lately, probably the last like 6 to 8 months, I honestly think it's unfair how much of a good-looking human being this person is. People shouldn't look like this. Came out for a contract signing this week with EO Sky. Bianca Belair. She had the glasses on. She had the little sports coat on that she took off. She's looking real like... Doesn't she look different now? Like now that she's not all like playing around and she's more about the business. It's almost like... What's a good age range? It's almost like you saw a woman when she was like 22, 23, and then all of a sudden you see her when she's like 30 and she's got her shit together. That's the change that's happened with Bianca since the Naomi Jade fiasco. It's like she started wearing darker colors. She started being more put together. She ain't about the bullshit no more. I don't know. But Bianca Belair got my street clothes wrestler of the week.
Sometimes the glow up is real. So shout out to Bianca Belair.
And just if Montez is watching or listening, I mean that so respectfully, sir. I'm not, I don't want any issues. Mr. Tag Team Champion of the world.
Hey man, he might be a big professional wrestler, but if it's like 5 of us, he can't take on all 5 of us.
He was also in the Marines.
That too.
Yeah.
We saw what happened to Shawn Michaels.
This ain't Shawn Michaels though.
Shawn Michaels was fighting Marines. The irony.
Listen, you're right. Montez ain't Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels couldn't fight for real. This motherfucker can fight for real. His hands ain't kayfabe.
ain't the movies though. Sometimes the numbers are overwhelming.
Well, it's gonna be 4 of y'all because I'm not doing it.
Well, I ain't doing it, dude. I'm trying to help you out. You talk about you ain't doing it. Fuck you too.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. You crazy? I'll just pick over street clothes the rest of the week every week from the safety of my own home.
You have it.
Let's get to power rankings, EJ, and get the hell up out of here as it's getting late early. Man, I hate missing NXT. Then I gotta watch it the next day after I hear about all the spoilers and shit.
I don't know why the websites I send you don't work because they post it in like segments throughout the night. So
it does. I appreciate it. I figured it out.
Okay. Yeah, they post it like as you go throughout the night, like in parts before they upload the full thing. So that's what
real
I
quick.
do after.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but Monday Night Raw yesterday. Did you watch it live in the daytime? 2:00 your time.
I was at work and I had something popped up, so I watched like the first 15 minutes of John Cena segment before I had to get back to work.
Yeah, I'm excited about the next 2 weeks because I'm usually home before 3:00, and it's my poor girlfriend. It's WrestleMania season, and so like I'm like I gotta watch wrestling tonight. I gotta watch wrestling tonight. I gotta watch wrestling tonight, and she's just like, give me a fucking. Oh my god, I got a story that I've been meaning to tell you, EJ.
What's that?
So, my girlfriend, for everybody out there, is not a wrestling fan. She never was. Since we've been dating, she's been to a couple shows. She loves to tell her coworkers and other people that I have a wrestling podcast. Like, she's a way better mouthpiece for like promoting me than I am. Like, we'll go places and she'll be like, yeah, oh, you like wrestling? Like, he's got a wrestling podcast, boot to the face. And I'm just standing there like, yeah, I do.
Nice.
But there's been a couple instances over the last year where she's realized how big wrestling is, that she never knew there was this whole world, and I don't think any of them were bigger than this. So, and this is not funny, but it is. Her half brother has brain cancer, I believe, and like doesn't have long to live. Like he came and stayed with us for almost a week a couple months ago, and it was basically like his goodbye to her. And he's one of those people that are like off the grid all the time. So like the whole time we were in Japan, she didn't know if like she couldn't get in touch with him. She couldn't, no communication, right? So
how old is he?
He's in his late 20s, early 30s. Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
that's sad. Man. Fuck cancer, man.
Big time. Me and him get along. We've met like 3 or 4 times. Like I said, he stayed here for almost a week recently. But to make the story a little lighter, she couldn't get in touch with him, and he finally texts her back. He doesn't say I'm okay or yeah, still alive or any of that. She comes downstairs looking at me and goes, well, I talked to Ray. Well, I heard back from Ray. I was like, oh, cool. How is he? He wants to know what you think about John Cena turning heel.
Wrestling, like you said, wrestling is big, but that's like an outlier story. You don't usually see stories that crossover, but that is hilarious.
So funny. Yeah, it's like infiltrated her life big time, and like her sister's husband, he's gotten back into wrestling with their kids, so like he listens to our show all the time. Shout out to Jimmy. And what was another one was last year, we're sitting there about to watch night 2 of WrestleMania, and her boss sends her a text message, and she's like, oh fuck, like Mark just texted me, like he never texts me on the weekend. It must be something, I must have fucked something up at work or whatever. Like she's thinking the absolute worst, just looking at the name that says like her boss texted her. She opens a message and it says Cody's about to finish his fucking story. Anyway.
Like The Rock said, wrestling's cool again. It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
infiltrating pop culture again, which is dope.
I sent her the video to send to him where The Rock was on Twitter and said, Cody Rhodes from the bottom of my heart, fuck your story. And he was laughing. He's like, oh my God, I haven't seen that. But yeah, so anyway, my poor girlfriend, she's got to suffer through me watching wrestling every night. So for the next 2 Mondays, she didn't have to worry about it because I'll be done with Monday Night Raw before she gets home from work.
Yeah, so sounds like a win-win situation to me.
Yep, and then there could be 2 Monday Night Raws. Anyway, power rankings. I'll go first since you went for Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week. My number 5, he won a squash match on Monday Night Raw. My boy Austin Theory's in the motherfucking mud, EJ. The mud.
How you say that's your boy? Because you already know how I feel about that guy.
That goddamn John Cena. Austin Theory was killing it till he ran into John Cena. But yeah, Jey Uso defeats Austin Theory in what, like 40 seconds or some shit like that?
He's a jobber at this point.
And then next week, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller will take on Jey Uso in a mystery tag team partner. Smart money would say it'll be Jimmy Uso and Gunther will come out and do something. But I feel like it might be a certain European wrestler. Is he European or is he English? I can't remember. Where are they at? Are they in Europe next week?
No clue.
Somewhere over. I feel like it might be a wrestler that's from over there that's really popular over here that's a world champion in TNA.
Hendry.
Say his name and he'll appear.
I've heard a conspiracy theory that it might be Gunther as his tag team partner, which would be kind of fucked up.
That'd be fun though. What if Gunther and fucking Jey Uso win the tag belts before WrestleMania? I always like those kind of things. Like Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels were in a feud, and for some reason they had to team up to take on the tag team champions, and they fucking won. And then they're like fighting each other the whole time throughout the match. I don't know. I like that dynamic.
Yeah, that would definitely be a interesting fold in the story. Yeah, like you said, that was a squash though. Jey Uso is not in my power rankings. My number 5. It had a really good match. I was over there at Umar in my hotel room watching it afterwards on a replay. Randy Orton and our guy Carmelo Hayes. Is Carmelo? Is that his name? For some reason I want to say Carmelo Anthony. It's Carmelo Hayes. Isn't it?
It's Carmelo Hayes. I said Carmelo Anthony last week. Maybe I fucked you up.
Carmelo Hayes. You know, I feel like Hayes was like getting through the growing pains because he came in with a bang with being like the number 1 draft pick, and then he kind of played the background a little bit, and now he's starting to float back up to the top.
Yeah,
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
I like what they're doing with Carmelo. Yeah, he's losing a lot of these big matches, but he's having really good matches with the best wrestlers on the road. I mean, you can't be mad about getting a match with Randy Orton. And I love the dynamic with him and Nick Aldis. Much like I was talking about the Renee Paquette, how her dynamic with the women's roster in AEW. I think Nick Aldis is so much of a better GM than Adam Pearce. Like, the way he interacts with the wrestlers and shit like that. He's really good. And I love that him and Carmelo got this little, like, beef with each other. And eventually Carmelo's going to start winning. So, Melo don't miss.
I'll go off on a limb and say he probably win the U.S. title before the year is up, but don't quote me on that.
WrestleMania.
Maybe. I don't think it's going to be a one-on-one match at WrestleMania for the U.S. title, so maybe he gets thrown in that mix. But we shall see. My number 4 are your new TNA Women's Tag Team Champion, by Elegance. So Sunday was my day to catch up with Impact and Sacrifice. Did you get a chance to look at any highlights or anything from Sacrifice?
I was watching and I saw Tessa Blanchard beat Xia Li and I turned it off.
Disgusting. I still don't get it. Cause at this point they're like, all heat is good heat, but they call you a racist. I don't know if that's good heat. That can't bring good eyes
right.
from
That's
other media sources.
That's the opposite of good heat. That's literally bad heat. Like, you're racist. They can't put the title on her. I'm sorry, they can't.
They will. Oh, they will. They're going to. It's going to be disgusting. And then I don't blame all the blowback they're going to get, because then you're going to have media outlets. It might not be the highest of media outlets, but then you're going to have more eyes on it, and people going to bring up the racism stuff. So this was like just a bad situation.
You think they're dumb enough with all the positive momentum that TNA has over the past 2 years? You think they'd be dumb enough to put the women's world title on her?
Why else would you bring her in so you can get more eyes on the world title? I don't understand. If you're not going to do it, then why even bring her in?
To have her get beat by all the black female wrestlers?
They got Tasha Steelz and
she's Puerto Rican.
The bigger girls. She's black Puerto Rican, and
she's black Rican.
What was her heat? She's still in there. The bigger girl, the taller girl.
I can't remember her name. I know you're talking about that.
The only two black women. That'd be dope if they did.
Isn't Naomi still there?
Trinity.
Yeah, they don't have any black women wrestlers, do they? Yeah, I don't think I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever happened to Killer Kelly?
She got pregnant.
I don't know why I thought about her.
Well, because I'm wearing her T-shirt right now.
My cousin did his thing. I don't blame him.
That's why you thought about it. Yeah. Subliminal.
Not see your shirt because it was underneath. Because I was looking at Tasha Steelz' profile and her name popped up on there. So what a coincidence!
She did just release some very cool pictures on social media, though. So I think she's back in ring shape.
That's what's up. And I didn't want to disrespect the sister's name. Is Savannah Evans.
Yes.
I didn't think of. So yeah, they should just have a handicap match. Those two versus Tessa Blanchard.
I had Speedball Mike Bailey as my number 5, but then Jay did what he did, and I think that's bigger than what Speedball did.
Speedball Mike Bailey, I think he picked the right choice of the company that he chose. He would have did well in NXT, but he just doesn't seem like a fit on the main roster. So yeah. I think he's gonna do well.
I just can't trust a motherfucker that wrestle with no shoes on.
Somebody mentioned that on a group that I was in. I can't remember which group. And for some reason, I thought about you because they mentioned him not wrestling in shoes, and I'm like, Rucker would not like Bailey.
I don't. He had a really good match with Shelton Benjamin at WrestleCade when we were there. Well, you had left already the second night of WrestleCade, but Shelton beat his ass. My number 4 is they were on your list just now, your new TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champ. I'm so glad for Dana Brooke. I really am. I was a fan of her during the Titus Worldwide stuff, and when she was winning the 24/7 championship, WWE gave her so much bullshit, and she tried her ass off to get all of it over. And then people would cheer for her, and then when they'd actually let her wrestle, people would just fucking tear her down. She got released, she went to TNA, and she's a tag team champion now. And I'm fucking happy for her. And I think the gimmick works for her, too. It's a stupid name, Ash by Elegance. But the gimmick is cool. I love it.
That's why I'm not for, because you said you think WWE's going to eventually buy TNA. I'm not for that, because if they do, I think they're going to fold it. I don't think they're going to keep Impact around. And Impact is a good place for people to try some new gimmicks and build themselves back up. So That's what I think TNA serves its purpose for. So, like you said, shout out to Ash. Like you said, it's name, but it's working.
My number 3, the Megasis, Miss Megan Bain. She had a good week on TV.
At Thunder Rosa match.
And the F5 from a woman. And it's crazy how big she looks. She's only 5'8". I thought she was like 6'13" or some shit.
Right before she's 6 foot. You can't believe the internet though.
She ain't no damn 6 foot. She's 5'8".
Like you said, she looks like an Amazon.
They'd lead you to believe that Jade is about 6 feet tall too. Jade's like 5'3".
Just keep shrinking it. She's definitely not 5'8", but I could see her being like 5'7". And
no, Jade's shorter than I am by a lot. Like when I saw her in AEW and she walked by, she was like 3 inches shorter than me, 4 inches maybe.
I mean,
I'll look it up
she's
right
taller
now.
than Bianca. So Bianca
Megan Bain height 5'8". Same height as Joey Janela. It says Chris Statlander's 5'9". Is Statlander taller than Megan Bain?
I thought they were like the same height.
It says she weighs 187. Get the fuck out of here. First off, we don't put women's ages online like this. She's only 26.
Yeah, she's young. Joey Janela.
This fucking guy, boy, he got the juice. He ain't got no teeth, but he got the juice.
Yeah, you don't need no teeth when you got the juice.
You need no
My
teeth.
number 3.
It says Jade's 5'10". Huh. Maybe that wasn't Jade I saw at AEW.
Says you taller than her. Well,
This was fucking Layla Gray, and I thought it was Jade.
I don't look anything alike. But
Congrats to her for getting married
what
this
did we
week,
say?
by the way.
Who she get married to?
I don't fucking know. I just saw she got married, Layla Gray.
Up at her. Yeah, like I was saying,
lucky
my
man.
number 3 is still your IC champion, Braun Breaker. Went back and forth with Finn Balor. Poor Finn Balor. I don't know. Like I said, I think it was shit. That was 9 years ago. He still hadn't really bounced back from when he dropped the Universal title when he got hurt, but I don't know. But Braun is my number 3. My number 2 is still NXT North American Women's Champion and your new NXT Women's World Champion. One of Rucker's favorites, Stephanie Baker.
Yes, indeed.
Wonder what that what kind of was that? That was a really good match. That's why you said
You said her name, and he appeared. This is why I need to start writing stuff down. That was so long ago. Now I have to kick off Braun Breaker off my power rankings.
That's what it is.
Sorry, Braun. Even though Jay Uso won a match that didn't mean shit, he's on here and you're not. My number 2 is the Street Profits, new WWE Tag Team Champions. They're WWE Tag Team Champions. Didn't see that coming. Didn't see a title change coming, but I guess I should. WWE's training us now to be like, look, man, title changes happen on TV. If I'm a champion in WWE and you give me a TV title match, I'm sick that day. I got a stomach ache. Street Profits for the first time in 4 years. Can you believe it's been that long?
Yeah, that's like a fact that when I saw it, I'm like, wow. They won it like the last time they had it was during the pandemic. That's crazy stats to me. And yeah, shout out to them. And that's crazy because not too long after they dropped it, that's when like the clamoring for Montez to go solo happened. But then it's been kind of like up and down for them. And now they're finally back at the tag team champion. So Hey, championships is championships. So shout out to Street Profits.
Just a little house cleaning. Layla Gray is now married to pro wrestler Luke Curtis. He wrestles for New Japan.
Not too familiar with his work, but shout out to him.
Yeah, he's a looking at his Twitter account. He's a guy. A lucky guy. My number one, EJ just brought it up a second ago. She's now your WWE Women's and North American Women's Champion, as she won the main event in like a 13-minute. I thought the match would be a little bit longer, but good match. I don't know if it means Julia's going to the main roster now, if she's injured and they had to take the title off of her. I don't know. I was shocked Stephanie won. I wanted Stephanie to win. And now we're in the fucking era of Stephanie Vakir. And Jada Parker says she's coming for whoever wins that match. So the NXT Women's Division's heating up. But on top of that mountain, the new undisputed champion, Stephanie Vakir. Number one in the power rankings.
Jada winning the North American by some shenanigans, but she ain't getting that world title. But because her and Kalani got some back and forth. I could see Kalani accidentally costing Stephanie the title or something like that. But yeah, number one was your number two. Have the Street Profits finally back on top of the tag team mountain as your WWE tag team champions.
Would you like breaking news from NXT?
Nah, no, I'll watch it later.
Okay. Wow. It ain't from what happened tonight. It's just what's gonna take place next week. But
what's happening next week?
There's 3 championship matches next week. You have the Heritage Cup with Javon Evans taking on Lexis King. You have the NXT Women's North American Championship match. Stephanie Vakir defending the title against Fallon Henley. And then you have the NXT Women's Championship match with Stephanie Vakir defending the Women's Championship against Jada Parker.
So she's defending North American against Fallon. If you had it the other way around, I think it would be a title drop. I don't see her losing either one. So interesting still though.
I don't like it. I don't like you're killing 2 women's wrestlers if she just beats both of them. Like, especially whoever wrestles her second, which will probably be Jada Parker. And Jada's not going to win. So that just fucks Jada over, that she just had a match for a world title right before that. And if Jada Parker's smart, as soon as that match is over, play my music. I want my title shot right now.
There'll be some shenanigans going on, but she's just beating them straight up then. I don't like it either.
Who was your number one? I didn't hear you. You cut out.
Street Profits.
Okay, cool. Well, shit, that's it, EJ. Man, we ran long today. Hour and 45 minutes. You got anything you want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
Shout out to everyone that listens every week as always, and we are in the thick of things of WrestleMania season.
Soon to be WrestleMania t-shirt week. Do not forget. I will be sending reminders and stuff like that out on social media. Please play along. Hopefully we see you in Las Vegas. If you see me in Vegas and I look a little intoxicated and I'm at the roulette table, do me a favor. Just throw $10 on black for me, and if you win, you get to keep it all. $10 on black. That ain't shit. Throw $10 on number 11. And if you win, you can keep it all. But yeah, hopefully we'll see a bunch of people in Vegas. But until then, until next week, For EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been another great episode of Boot to the Face. Peace!
Yeah, Mr. Chaos.